morning, everyone, and welcome to hour number one. This is our salute to Ebertfest this morning, 16th annual Ebertfest. And I have two terrific guests here in the studio, the festival director, Nate Cohn, and we have actor Patton Oswalt. Good to have you in town. I want to talk to you about Young Adult a little bit later on, but Nate, a terrific lineup again. In addition to Patton, you've got Spike Lee and Oliver Stone and a bunch of good people coming.
Yeah, well, I think we've got a pretty good lineup this year.
And then we come to your movie at 9 o'clock in the evening, Young Adult. Talk about that.
It was a movie, I don't know, I was so lucky to get to do this film. I started off just helping Jason doing table reads for it, and then Charlize and I got along. We just clicked, and he said, okay, well, you're playing this guy.
But I wanted you to hear Roger's words. Roger said that Oswalt's Matt is human, realistic, sardonic, and self-deprecating. Patton Oswalt is, in a way, the key to the film's success.
That blew my head apart when she read that again. I mean, I read it every morning, so I don't know if I can get out of bed. But it really does mean a lot to me to get to come to this festival.
Then at 2 o'clock, A Simple Life.
This is a film that Roger has wanted to show at the festival for about 2 or 3 years, ever since it first came out.
My producers were very pleased with the review written by Roger, and they sent it to me, and believe it or not, I was more moved by Roger's review than by my own film.
Okay, but go quickly to Saturday here, Nate, at 11 o'clock.
Yeah, we're showing Wadja, which is directed by Haifa Al-Mansour. She's a Saudi Arabian woman who made a movie in Saudi Arabia, directed it, about a young girl who wants to ride a bicycle in Saudi Arabia. It's warm-hearted, it's funny, it's touching, and it gives you a real insight into what life is really like inside Saudi Arabia, particularly for women.
I am so happy to give you this golden thumb, and because you made not only the first film in Saudi Arabia by a woman, but the first film in Saudi Arabia, the first full-length feature. It is so amazing. It's so amazing.
Oh, it's such an amazing audience. I'm really honored to be here. And the audience is very receptive and very open, and they invested in the film, and you can see from their questions and reactions, and it's really very gratifying for a filmmaker.
We actually give cast of Roger's thumbs to our filmmakers who come.
Who cares about an Oscar, though? This is...
Short Term 12 is a movie about, it's like a holding facility for troubled teens and care workers. Brie Larson plays this girl who's in between the administration and the doctors. Short Term 12 it's harsh, but it's also very hopeful.
I don't want to tell you too much about it. I want you to feel it. I don't want you to think about it. And I want you to allow yourself to let these images wash over you.
Sunday noon, there is one more to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah, that's a film called Bayou Maharaja. It's a documentary about a New Orleans piano player in the 60s, 70s, and 80s called James Booker. And his life is one of great tragedy, but his music is soaring and beautiful.
The theater here is beautiful, and you had the option to project a print with amazing sound and amazing theater with a packed audience.
The work is beautifully projected. I was very excited to hear that They were bringing in James Bond, who is a projectionist that I've known about for many years, who I have great respect for. It's unusual because people don't have that respect so much anymore for projection. There's nothing like seeing your work shown right.
I'm really excited about this, and I don't know much about it other than Steve James is involved in it, and it's based on Roger's book. So that kicks things off tonight at 7:30. It's Life Itself.
Yeah, that's the documentary, as you say, based on Roger's memoir. And it's an extraordinary, extraordinary film.
Even sitting in the back behind everyone on the ground floor, the energy and the engagement with the film was quite remarkable. When we were editing this film, we knew certain things were funny, and we kind of edited for some of the bigger laugh lines in the movie. There was a little bit of a pause so that in a theater, people won't miss the next line. Well, we needed bigger pauses tonight because, the response was so strong. And then, just the way in which suddenly the room got very quiet. 1,500 people, you could hear a pin drop in there.
A movie about Roger at a film festival called Ebertfest. The depth of his loss was even more profound than at any other screening, because I know that this audience all got him.
I'd like you to give a warm welcome to the great Mr. Oliver Stone.
One of the reasons we invited Oliver Stone and Spike Lee is because they're both great friends of Roger, and Roger was a great friend of these two guys.
It's a full theater, like 1,100 seats, beautiful screening. For me, it's hard, to sit through it because I see flaws. I would have done certain things differently, of course. But I'm always been moved by the movie. It has a raw anger that startled me still at this 25 years later.
That's one of the things I like about Oliver Stone, is that Oliver Stone never leaves any doubt as to exactly where he stands in these films.
Roger was very supportive of my films from Salvador on. That made a huge difference because it was a very strong reviewer. He was very respected.
He was a big champion of my work. He was very instrumental with Do the Right Thing.
No one does the right thing. They're all making mistakes that lead to an explosion at the end.
That is the key thing. And a lot of people, incidentally, I might add as a footnote, this is also my pick as the number one.
I knew it would be.
Number one film of the year.
It had to be.
One of the few critics that stood up to the negative and ignorant reviews and comments that other film critics were saying about the film. And I just think that's a great testament, it's honor to still have this festival. I think it's the 16th year, and Chaz is doing a great job. I just hope, that'll keep on going and growing.
I hope you all join us tomorrow at noon outside of the Virginia Theater. We're going to unveil the sculpture of Roger.
Five o'clock, Goodbye Solo.
Yeah, this is this is, I think, the third Ramin Barani film we've shown at this festival. And
Ebert loves Ramin, but he loved him. Oh my gosh.
And we do as well.
I'm so happy to be here because it's such an amazing cinema. It's such a humongous screen, which doesn't exist anymore. And mainly because of you. It's such a warm audience that reminds me of Roger and his spirit.
I mean, sitting in the Virginia Theater is incredible. And sitting with this audience, I mean, they're so appreciative. They laugh, they cry, you know, they clap at the right parts.
The audience is made of people who love film. People appreciate film the same way Roger did.
You know, seeing the film here with this audience speaks to something Roger talks about in the movie, where he says one of the things he increasingly missed about going to the movies was that huge theater experience with 1,000 people in a 10-story high screen, everyone together watching a movie that they're loving. And well, I had it tonight.
The experience of this festival, the intimacy of it, the friendliness of it, I think it opens people's hearts. I think it has an effect on people that opens them up to life. It's extraordinary, started by an extraordinary man. The spirit just goes on and on and on.
I grew up in the 80s in the suburbs of Northern Virginia. I had every copy of Roger Ebert's video guides. He was the doorway out of the suburbs and out of the limited selection that you had at the video store. I normally would have passed over something like Floating Weeds if, but hey, Savage Streets with Linda Blair, there might be nudity, I'll go get that. But luckily I had Roger's video guides to maybe check out Floating Weeds, you creepy horn dog. And I can't believe I'm about to introduce a movie that Roger Ebert liked me in. That's a huge deal for me. That's a huge deal for any actor. And any actor that tells you I don't really read reviews, I guarantee you they read Roger's reviews and hope that they didn't get Deuce Bigalow 2 review. I guarantee you they did. You sucked and down Periscope. That's weird. I don't know why would you put that on? It's hurtful. That's weird. If I ever become a supervillain, I'm going to replace my hand with this golden thumb. I'll be Gold Thumb. Gold Thumber. He's the man with the golden thumb. I gained 40 pounds for this role 20 years before Diablo wrote the script.
Speaking of that, I have to ask
No, let's not talk about that.
But the bedroom scene, the cool thing is she got those little rubber cups to wear and you were topless. I thought that was great.
She's got the chicken. Not only am I getting naked, I'm getting naked with the most physically perfect human being. I can't get naked with Paul Giamatti or John Goodman. No, it's gotta be with this Nexus 6 Android model. And then me, my torso is a living tribute to Walter Matthau's face. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This is the season finale of Parks and Rec. You could be home watching that, but you came to watch this. So thank you so much. Enjoy Young Adult. Thanks, guys.